If you're a people pleaser, you don't know what love is. And it's a harsh truth to hear, but you deserve to hear it in order for you to truly be able to step into the version of yourself that puts yourself first. So why is it that you don't know what love is if you're a people pleaser? Well, when you're a people pleaser, your idea of what love is solely built on giving other people validation, making sure they're not triggered, and regulating and making yourself fit into other people's lives in order for them to keep you in their lives. Essentially, what people pleasers think is love is truly self-abandonment, and that is why you don't know what true love is if you are a people pleaser. And this is especially true if you're a woman as well, because people pleasing and being a woman goes hand in hand. When we women are born, we are essentially raised to be people pleasers that regulate everyone and their mom's emotions before we get to regulate our own. And then when we grow into young adults and young women, we think that in order for a man to love us, we need to pour into him and give and give and give. Because we crave intimacy, which is completely valid. We crave having company. We crave human connection. But we think when we're people pleasers that human connection and building a bond with someone is dependent on how much you can sacrifice yourself and put other people's needs before yours in order to show them that you truly want them and you truly want to support them. And society has clocked this big time. And that is exactly why when a woman starts stepping into her non-people pleaser growth era and she stops being so nice, stops being so overbearing, stops being the good girl, then suddenly society will tell her she is immoral and she's bad and she's really not thinking about anyone but herself, huh? And this is exactly why it sounds extremely harsh when I say that people pleasers don't know what love is. Because our whole life we've been fed this idea that love means putting other people's needs first. We're left wondering why we're never getting reciprocation because we should be getting reciprocation from the world. Because we've done so much for everyone and their mom. Why are we not getting anything back? Well, that's because the world can see that we are willing to give every little drop that we have in our water bottle, aka the water bottle that is our energy and our soul's purpose and desire. We think love means giving everything to everyone because that's what we're raised to believe. We're raised to believe that if we give everything and we're meager and we're nice, then we're going to be rewarded. And that means we become blind to the idea of what love really is, because unless there's some self-sacrifice, we do not feel that things are love. And this is where the important question arises. Is it really love? Or is it conditioning? As I said before, the people that benefit the most from people pleasers, especially women being people pleasers, which is basically half of the whole population, are the people that are constantly telling us that you need to be good and you need to be nice and you need to be moral, and then you'll get everything back in the end. When you're raised as a people pleaser, especially if you're a woman and especially if you're a neurodivergent woman as well, triple threat, talking about myself here. Your way of surviving when you were a child was based upon you people pleasing for maybe your family members or people around you in order for you to be able to survive. That is a survival mechanism and conditioning that people pleasers develop as a result of them not getting the validation and the reciprocation and the true love that they deserve for just them existing. Because they know that if they do not agree or become malleable and become nice and good and do everything for everyone, then they will be put to the side and they will be shown emotional coldness. They will be shown abandonment in the form of their caretakers or people around them not wanting them to be around. And that is exactly how narcissistic people work, narcissistic parents. And it's also how men work. All men are narcissists. Because as soon as we start feeding into our own wants and needs, our own dreams, and working on ourselves, then suddenly we're slammed in the head with, ooh, you're a little antisocial. Oh, you don't want to be around us, huh? Or if we're suddenly not trying to take upon us the burden of constantly validating someone's emotions, even if they're not really ours to validate when we're literal children, then we're given a cold shoulder. We're given emotional distance. And that conditions us from a very, very young age to believe that in order for us to have closeness and relationships with other human beings, we need to be overgiving, oversharing, overbearing, and accepting everyone's tendencies, making them feel happy, jolly, and heard. And this is exactly how, when we then become adults, we end up self-sabotaging big time because we are taking every little bird with a broken wing, both friends, family, men as well, under our own wing, even if our own wing is broken. Even if we still have healing to do and we can't fly as high or as far as we truly want or need to fly in order for us to feel safe. We are conditioned to believe that love or being around other people, which is essentially what we deem as love a lot of the time, it has everything to you putting your needs to the side or to the back and putting everyone else's needs to the front. We're sold the lie that love means sacrifice, but we end up sacrificing our whole entire identity, our whole entire everything that we could achieve. We end up sacrificing that in order to make other people happy that can't even make themselves happy. So we're trying to control them. We're essentially trying to control other people's reactions to us so that we do not have to admit to ourselves that we can't handle our own emotions. We can't be alone with ourselves. This is why, if you are a people pleaser, one thing that can be very, very important to do for you is to spend more time on your own. Because there's a good chance that if you're a people pleaser, you're also probably someone who has an anxious attachment style, which means that you're trying to control the situation or everything always blows up because you're afraid what everyone has going on and you're afraid that they're going to leave you if you don't play your cards right. A great example of this in television is actually Carrie Bradshaw. If you're a woman who has people-pleasing tendencies, then the most common thing that will happen to you is as soon as you become a young adult or when you become maybe teenage girl or whatever, is that you will start seeking male attention. Because no longer do you have the attention that you would require from a parent. You have actually grown up understanding that you can feed yourself, you can take care of yourself, but that doesn't mean that you're not no longer striving for human connection. But because you have these abandonment wounds and because you've developed these people-pleasing tendencies, you don't believe that the love from your friendships or the love from people that don't want anything from you, that just don't want anything but just want to exist with you. You believe that love can only come of the form of people pleasing, which means that you actually end up searching for men that you can people please and that will make you self-abandon. This is so important to clock. If you are a people pleaser, you will naturally gravitate towards men that will make you self-abandon because that's been what you've been conditioned to believe is safe, and that's what you've been conditioned to believe is love. So anything that feels calm or anything that feels like, you know what, it's not that bad, it's actually pretty chill. I don't need to do too much. If you're a people pleaser, aka a self-abandoner, you will believe that anything that is not self-abandonment can't truly be a sign of love, which means that you will be going back to toxic people, toxic friendships, toxic family members, toxic men again and again and again in order for you to be able to feel that idea of validation, that idea of love that you have been brought up to believe love is. This is exactly why it is very important for you to spend more time by yourself if you are a people pleaser, anxious attachment girly. Even if you're an avoidant attachment girly, because I do believe that there are actually a lot of people pleaser girlies that end up turning into avoidant attachment girly. Because when you do spend more time alone by yourself and you suddenly don't have anyone you need to report to, then suddenly you become very, very hyper aware of your own people pleasing, self abandonment tendencies, because your energy is naturally going to be drawn towards being something for someone else more than actually tuning into your own growth. It's actually going to feel extremely uncomfortable being in a space where suddenly you don't have to tune into anyone else and the only thing you have to worry about is yourself. And that energy is going to feel overwhelming. It's going to make you cry. It's going to make you feel like, what is going on? But that energy is actually you finally holding the energy that you were supposed to hold from the beginning, the energy that you were supposed to be able to cherish and love from the beginning, aka self-love energy. But you've been going into self-love debt for so long. You've been taking all of your energy and pouring it into everyone else so that you had minus energy, to a point where holding that energy that you actually deserve to hold, that is actually normal for a human being to have, that energy feels extremely scary because you've never had it. It's kind of like if you're someone who's never really had that much money to spend on yourself. You've grown up, maybe you didn't have money to spend on, a little candy during the weekend, or, maybe you couldn't really buy yourself toys or whatever when you were a kid. And suddenly when you become an adult and you have access to more money, like actual adult money, it feels weird. It feels strange. And you're like, what am I going to do? Maybe you blow all the money. Actually, blowing all the money is a lot of the times what people that don't know how to handle money because they've never had it end up doing. When you don't know how to hold that energy, you will want to get rid of the energy in order for you not to have to deal with it. Same goes with money. But this also goes with people pleasing. If you are not used to holding your own energy that you could be recycling into yourself, it is going to feel very uncomfortable and you will have tendencies to go out and spend it on other people so that you do not need to deal with it. And now you can sit and you can say, I am broke. I don't have any love. And that's exactly what's going to attract these people pleaser harvesters, vampires to your life that want to take all of your energy. Because first and foremost, as soon as you get a little self-love energy by being on your own or having to deal with things by yourself, then the first thing you do is that you find someone you can give it to because you're not used to holding it. And these people clock how much you're just willing to self-abandon all of the energy that you have for yourself, that they swoop in under you and make you believe that you don't deserve anything, because anytime you then get anything, then you will give it to them. Narcissists especially will make you believe that the energy that you're holding is a surplus so that you should be giving it to them, while in reality, you're literally in self-love debt. But when you do spend more time alone, then suddenly you don't have anyone to give that energy to. And the only option you truly have is to recycle that energy within yourself, tune into your own emotions, put yourself first, and it's going to feel extremely scary. It's going to feel extremely overwhelming, and it's going to feel like something is wrong. It's not going to feel like the typical love that you think love is, because you don't know what love is, because love to you when you're a people pleaser is self-abandonment, is putting everyone else's needs first. So you've been conditioned to believe that that's actually self-love and that's love and it's good. It's thinking that in order for people and yourself to be happy, they need to be happy. Even if you don't feel the happiness, you must be happy now. So you don't know what love is, because that's not what love is. Love is not putting yourself last, sacrificing everything for everyone else. That's not love. And that is exactly why when it comes to all of the girlies that are out there looking, maybe at my content especially, I've been making videos about, how to trick men, using men as your employee. I get a lot of comments in my comment section saying, well, I want love. What about love? We shouldn't be trying to trick people. We shouldn't be trying to make people do things for us. What about love? Well, you know what? My content is all about love. My content is all about love, but it's not love for men. It's not finding love out there in some Prince Charming. It is self-love. It is putting yourself first, because that's a love that we've been conditioned to believe is not love. We've been conditioned to believe that that's selfishness, so that we do not associate with that love, so that we think that that love is bad. We curse that love. And then we wonder why we're left feeling tired, feeling played, and why men are always able to get the long end of the stick and we're always left with the shortest end of the stick that's so short we don't even know where it is. Because if you're a people pleaser girly, you cannot go out and find true love, because you will only be dating at the level where you are willing to self-abandon. You will be dating at a level where you will self-abandon, because as soon as you start developing a connection with a man, you think, now I'm supposed to give everything because that's how I'm going to get everything. And they clock that and they take and they take and they take. And we think, oh, they're taking. That's so good. That's because they love me. They'll take and they take and they take until you look like Bella Swan from Breaking Dawn Part 1, where she's like, before she turns into a vampire, she's like, because you think that's love. You think them draining you is love. First and foremost, that's conditioning, and that is literally narcissism, but it's also you putting yourself last. It's self-abandonment. You are literally self-abandoning yourself, and you need to clock that, and you need to be honest with yourself about that. Because if you're not honest with yourself about that, you're gonna get played again and again and again, because you know what society wants you to believe, that ooh, we should all be happy together and we should all love each other. And they know that women are so gullible that we will believe that, because we're all raised to be these moral princesses that believe that everything that the fairy godmother, aka society, says is true. We're raised to believe in fairy tales that don't exist so that the men can live out the fairy tale ending, not us. And that's why we have to forego this idea of love that we've been brainwashed to believe our whole childhood. Because if we're saying that we're going to go out and search for love, or I just want a man who loves me, we should all be happy and love each other, you're going to end up with a man who's going to either make you people please him, or you're naturally going to self-abandon, because that's the conditioning you've grown up with. Even if he's a nice guy, you will self-abandon. And then he's going to get used to those tendencies, and he's going to wonder when suddenly one day you clock that that's not something you need to do anymore. He's going to wonder where all the love went. That's why you can't be looking for love when you're a people pleaser girly for a while. You have to put yourself first, and you have to be meaner. You have to be 100 times meaner than you are right now. And you might feel like that's hard. It is hard. It is hard because you've been used to letting the floodgates open and letting everyone and their mom in on your business, so that you feel like you're getting some type of reciprocation, aka being a part of the tribe, a tribe that truly hates you, a tribe that loves that you self-abandon, so that they can get more out of you, to the point where at some point you can't even walk anymore. They're just going to leave you behind because you have nothing more to give them. Now they're going to go out and find some other person who's going to self-abandon. Because you know what love actually truly is? You know what love actually is? Love is effortlessness. Love feels like you don't have to prove, you don't have to do anything in order for you to feel like things are okay. And if you're a people pleaser, that feeling is not going to be normal for you. It's not going to feel comfortable, because you're wondering, what do I need to do to prove myself? What do I need to do this and this and that for that one, so that they know that I like them? But that's not love. Love is making people happy because you want to, not because you feel that in order for them to love you back, you need to make them happy. You need to validate them. And you know what? You want to pour into people until your cup is pouring over. It is not possible for you to pour into other people until your cup is filled. And that is why you need to spend more time alone, because you will never achieve that sense of effortlessness or not wanting to prove anything to anyone unless you remove yourself from needing to do it. You will rush, run, sprint back to self-abandon if you do not isolate yourself for a little while. And I'm not saying you have to isolate for the rest of your life and not be friends with anyone or not date anyone. No. But you need to get to a point where you're like, you need to be able to give yourself all the love that you need, so that when you do find someone to give love, it does not feel like a chore. It does not feel draining. It feels actually like growth. It feels like you're getting more. That is true reciprocation. That is true love. Love does not make you feel like you need to make other people happy in order for them to accept you. Love feels like you making yourself the version of yourself you deserve to be, and letting people choose you based on whether they can handle that or not. Because love does not shrink. Love grows. And that's why when you're a people pleaser, you don't know what love is, because you've been conditioned to believe love is self-abandonment, and that will get you played.